Guys, if you've been watching me for a while, you've heard about the diet, you've heard about the training style, and everyone's been asking me, what is the diet? How do you only train 3 days a week and get jacked? You don't track your macros. What is this method? And in this video, boys, I'm going to break it down from A to Z, everything, so you can implement it into your own life. But it's about 30, 40 minutes long. So I'm going to give you a quick dopamine hit. But honestly, boys, if you can't sit through a 30 to 40 minute video full of value, giving you all the gems, all the tips that you can implement yourself, brother, you're not going to do shit either way. You're not ready for a lifestyle change. You're not ready to get jacked. You're not ready to change your life. But if that is you, you want to get jacked, you want to put on size, you want to feel better, this video is for you, brother, and I'll see you. All right, my brothers. In this video, I'm going to walk you through exactly how I put on 10 kilos of muscle, literally just by boosting my testosterone naturally, right? No steroids. I wasn't tracking my macros. I'm not a gym bro. I don't eat fucking chicken and broccoli every day. This is the new way to do it, and this is exactly how I fucking did it, all right? You can see here, look at me here, skinny as fuck, training 6 days a week, working my ass off, tracking my macros. Then this is me just a couple weeks ago, right? No macros. I'm not eating chicken and broccoli. I'm not training fucking 25 days a week. And I feel a lot better. So let's walk through that exactly, right? First of all, boys, how did I actually do this? How did I boost my testosterone naturally, right? So for years, I listened to the gym bro advice. All that standard advice. I tracked my macros religiously. I ate chicken and broccoli. I went to the gym 6 days a week. I did all these things that these fitness influencers will tell you to do on a daily basis, right? All of that stuff. And over the years, I put on some size, right? I looked okay, as you can see. I don't look terrible. But for the fact that I was going 6 days a week, tracking my macros, doing all the nonsense, was it really that good? I don't think so. But the worst part by far is the fact that I woke up in the morning with no energy. I didn't spring out of bed. I felt unmotivated every time. It was a drag myself to the gym. It was just a chore every single time. And I was struggling to put on muscle. I mean, look at me. Like 6 days a week and I'm barely putting on muscle. I thought, like, how does this work? How am I doing everything they say to do? I'm doing all the right things, yet I feel like shit every day. I lack motivation, I lack drive, I lack energy, and I look like I go to the gym maybe once a week. How is that, right? Eventually, boys, I came to realize the baffling truth that in today's generation, in today's society, men's testosterone is at an all-time low, right? It's never been lower than it is today. And the gym bro advice that I was listening to was literally just making mine worse. And we'll talk about that later, how it makes it a lot worse, but it really does, right? But the bigger problem is, boys, it doesn't matter how fucking well you're tracking your macros, how often you go in the gym, how well you're pushing, etc., etc. If your testosterone isn't healthy, isn't optimal, getting jacked is an uphill battle, right? It's like if you have unhealthy testosterone, you wake up in the morning with low energy levels, so you don't push hard at the gym. You lack motivation, so you don't go to the gym. You lack drive and ambition, so you're lazy and you're unmotivated. It's just this cascade effect where when your testosterone isn't healthy and high, trying to get jacked, trying to get lean, trying to build a mad physique is just an uphill battle, right? It's the biggest bottleneck. And like, this is a statistic from ChatGPT right here. Modern men have 30 to 40% less testosterone than men the same age did just 40 years ago. Think about that. That is fucked up. That's just crazy, right? And you wonder why, if you're listening to this and you don't wake up in the mornings full of energy, you got brain fog, you never really want to go to the gym, and when you do, you're not pushing super hard. It's probably because you're a part of the modern generation of men, like I was myself, where we have 30 to 40% less testosterone than our grandfathers did, or not even our bloody dads did, right? And like it even says here, that's why guys are trying to get lean, strong, confident, driven, but they've got a biological disadvantage they don't even know they have, because everyone's telling you to track your macros, eat chicken and broccoli, make the gym a full-time job, but you have the biggest disadvantage, and we all do, that you don't even know that you have, which is low energy, low drive, harder muscle gain, higher fat storage, all because of this thing right here, boys. this thing right here, that no one's really talking about. Everyone's pointing you in this direction when they should be pointing you over here to fix this issue, right? So after years of research, boys, it's all good, because I found and I researched and I tried and I failed through my own problems, through my own solutions, the way to put on muscle, get jacked, and ultimately boost your testosterone without doing any of that extra bullshit. You don't need to track your macros. You don't need to do all these crazy things that they're telling you to do, that all the gym bros are telling you to do. And in the process, boost your testosterone so you start waking up with energy, you start wanting to go to the gym, and this just leaches into every other area of life, right? Because testosterone isn't just about muscles. It's about how you feel on a daily basis, how you wake up, your drive, your mood, everything, boys. Testosterone is so fucking important, right? But before we even go into that, boys, we need to talk about who is this actually for, right? Because this method isn't for every guy watching, right? If you're sick of waking up with low energy, low drive, low motivation, all these symptoms, and you know that there's a version of yourself that's waking up full of fucking energy, you're shredded, you're crushing life, you're that high vibration version of yourself, this is for you, right? Because the truth is, you might just be comfortable living as that lower version of yourself, and you don't even realize that there's this greater version of yourself, right? Because maybe you've never experienced what it's like to have healthy, high testosterone. Like myself, I thought I was just normal to wake up in the mornings lacking energy, not feeling amazing, having a feed and feeling like you need to have a nap. All these things I just thought were normal, but the truth is there is a version of yourself, once you outline and follow the protocol that I'm going to talk about in this video, that does wake up full of energy, shredded, crushing life, right? So if that's you, this is for you, bro, right? And if you're wanting to get jacked as fuck, get shredded, be lean so people respect you, so you respect yourself, but you don't want it to be a fucking full-time job. You don't want to live in the gym. You don't want to carry a fucking scale around with you to the beach. All this bullshit, right? You just want to be a guy who's jacked, healthy, lean because you respect yourself, right? And you want to look good, feel good. And of course, who is this not for, right? Because unfortunately in this day and age, boys, 95% of guys, they're just comfortable being average, low energy, soft, puffy versions of themselves, and they have no desire to level up. They just want to scroll on Instagram. They just want to fucking feel sorry for themselves. And they're not going to put the work in. They're not even going to go to the gym. They're not going to eat the right foods. They're not going to do anything, right? So if that is you, brother, I'm sorry. Come back when you're ready, right? This isn't for you. And if you're only keen on changing your physique and you think that you'll achieve that without leveling up other areas of your life, like your mindset, like building discipline, and ultimately just becoming a better version of yourself, once again, brother, you're not going to do the work. You're not going to probably even go to the gym for more than a week, right? So this isn't for you, brother. And if you don't care about having energy, feeling great, being confident, being healthy, all these other aspects I was talking about, once again, bro, this isn't for you. It's just not. And if you're not willing to lock in and commit to making the changes that you want, you're not ready to actually make the change, actually see results, actually start feeling amazing. Like I said, you're just happy to stay the same and not level up. Once again, brother, this isn't for you. You're not going to do the work, right? So we need to talk about the truth that most people think about getting jacked and putting on muscle, right? 99% of people still believe, and they don't understand, that you do not need to be tracking your macros. You don't need to be training 6 times a week, eating chicken and broccoli, making gym your full-time job, taking Tupperware to the beach, doing all these things that they tell you that you need to do, right? That the fitness industry has shoved down your throat and made you believe that's what you need to do to get in shape and stay in shape forever. It's all bullshit, right? You do not need to do any of that shit. And matter of fact, a lot of that contributes to ruining your energy, ruining your testosterone, and ruining your progress. And I know because I can speak from experience, right? All that stuff is for bodybuilders. Guys who are pushing massive amounts of steroids, guys who are making it their whole life and they're weighing every gram of rice they put in their mouth, right? Leave that for them. There's a way to do it where it fits into your lifestyle. You're not destroying your health. You're feeling amazing. And you're seeing massive results because humans are naturally in shape. Like you'll see later in this video, but your great-great-grandfather, he didn't struggle to be in shape because his testosterone was high. He wasn't tracking his macros. He wasn't doing any of that bullshit, right? You do not need to do all that stuff. Your body will naturally get into shape once you outline what's in this protocol, right? Because the truth is, you can put on muscle, you can get jacked, you can feel amazing, and you can be full of energy without any of that shit, without any of it, right? The only problem is that most men just aren't capable of doing so because they don't know how to eat in a way that doesn't just focus on macros and calories, like I said, everyone talks about, but actually fuels your body with the correct nutrients so that waking up with insane energy, hitting the gym, making progress, being disciplined, being consistent is just a natural byproduct, right? Think about that. If you woke up with energy, you woke up with motivation, you felt amazing, you were seeing results, of course you'd go to the fucking gym. Of course you'd continue to eat the correct foods. Of course you'd make progress. Of course you'd be more disciplined because you're not fighting an uphill battle, right? And that's what I'm trying to point out here. When you eat in a way that fuels your body correctly, it's very easy. Not easy in the way that you're not going to have to work hard, but that you're not fighting all this low energy, low motivation, feeling like shit, foggy, fuzzy mental health, right? And then the other part that most guys just don't understand, like I didn't understand at all for a long time, is how to train in a heavy and structured way that actually forces muscle growth and has you leaving the gym thinking, fuck, that was a good sesh, right? I mean, I can't tell you for how long I would go to the gym. I'd push the weights around, kind of do a bit of this, do a bit of that. And I'd leave the gym going, fuck, like I got a alright pump, but I don't really feel that strong. I don't really feel like I really pushed myself and had a good fucking session, right? That happened to me for years, right? And most guys train like that. And of course, what I'm trying to point out, boys, is nor do they understand the most important part. The most important by far to not only packing on lean muscle, getting jacked, but also having insane energy, insane libido, drive, motivation, all these great positive side effects. And what is that? Obviously, fixing your testosterone, like I said, boys, right? 30 to 40% lower testosterone than our fucking fathers from 40 years ago, right? And when I say this, I'm not talking about some crazy 10-step, herb and spices supplement protocol, right? You don't need to do any of that either, because the truth is, boys, there's nothing wrong with you. There was nothing wrong with me. There's nothing wrong with our bodies in this day and age, right? They naturally want to produce testosterone, and they can produce a lot more than they are currently. You just need to start eating correctly, training correctly, and dialing in a couple other factors in your life. And your testosterone will go up, right? You'll start feeling more motivated. You'll start waking up in the mornings feeling like you actually slept, getting out of bed straight away, ready to crush the day, going to the gym, making progress, right? All through just eating, training, and some other factors, dialing in those correctly, right? It's not pseudoscience. It's not some crazy, protocol. It's really just returning to how we used to live with nutrition and training, right? Because when you learn to eat and train in a way that fixes your testosterone, like I said, getting jacked is very fucking easy, boys. It's very predictable. It's very mathematical. It's not a struggle. It's not, maybe I'll get jacked. It's you do the right things, you get jacked. It's mathematical, right? Because you can see here, boys, look at me right here. I'm training 6 times a week. I'm eating chicken and broccoli. I'm tracking my macros. I'm being a gym bro. I'm doing all the stuff, all of it. And look, sure, I look okay, but very skinny, very little muscle mass. I felt like shit every day. I didn't love my life. I wasn't motivated. I had to drag myself to the gym. I was sick of who I was. Why? Because I had low testosterone. So I got poor results. No matter what I was doing correctly, right? And look at me down here, right? I'm training 3 times a week. I'm not eating chicken and broccoli. I'm not tracking my macros. I'm not being a gym bro. But guess what? I have fucking incredible results because my testosterone is high and healthy, right? So I've got expected results. Those are the expected results when your testosterone is healthy and high. And to be fair, these are expected results as well when your testosterone is unhealthy and low. Poor results. I mean, it's very mathematical, boys. It's not, it's very predictable, right? So if you want that person to be you want to be jacked, you want to be high testosterone, you want to get that energy back, right? You want to become that version of yourself. I'm going to break down exactly in this video the protocol of how I put on 10 kilos of muscle by fixing my testosterone naturally, and how to never track your macros, train 6 days a week, or do all this extra bullshit that you see online that these guys are telling you to do to get jacked, right? They're pointing you in the completely wrong direction. And how this protocol gives you way more than just a jacked physique, like I was saying, right? Being jacked is cool, it's great, but you know what's better, in my opinion? Waking up in the morning full of energy, not needing to have a nap at fucking 2 p.m, feeling motivated to go to the gym, feeling good at the gym, having clear head, positive mental health, being healthy, all these symptoms of healthy high testosterone that all just contribute to you getting jacked, right? This is the peak protocol, boys, because I'm telling you, you will be peaking, not just your muscles, but your energy, your drive, your motivation, your lust for life, everything, right? This is the protocol that I use to stay lean and jacked year round. I'll be lean and jacked for the rest of my life with this protocol, without all the extra bullshit, without bringing my Tupperware to the beach, tracking every single gram of rice, doing these things that's unsustainable, right? But even more, way more, it's the reason that I wake up in the morning full of energy, motivated to crush the fucking day, and you can do the exact same if you just implement this protocol into your life, right? So let's get right into it. Obviously, the first one, boys, if you watch my Instagram, you watch my stories, you boys all know about this one, right? This is the diet. This is the diet. You boys know about this, right? The single most important aspect to boosting your testosterone, to building muscle, to feeling amazing, and ultimately just living a way better life, right? That's the diet, but let's come over here and look at the real problem first. The real culprit, okay? This is the statistic I was just talking about, right? Young men today have 40% lower testosterone than his great-grandfather did at the same age due to the foods that he eats. Once again, that's just fucking insane, boys. And then you wonder why we struggle from all these symptoms, like struggling to put on muscle, but you think you need to train more or track your macros better. When really, when your testosterone isn't high, putting on muscle is almost fucking impossible, right? That's why I was training 6 days a week and barely putting on muscle, because there was no testosterone there to help my body recover, right? That's why I was waking up tired in the mornings, not full of energy. Every day was a chore to get out of bed. I just wanted to sleep for another couple hours, if not a couple days. I was lacking motivation, lacking energy, lacking confidence, lacking libido, all these fucking symptoms that just make your life terrible, right? And the crazy thing is, none of these symptoms are normal. None of them are healthy. They are what happens to a man when he does not have healthy high testosterone, when he has low testosterone. So if you struggle from any of these, boys, please do not think that's normal. Do not think that, oh, this is just what it feels like to be a human. No, brother, no. There's a version of yourself that puts on muscle very predictably and very easily because he trains hard and he goes to the gym. He doesn't wake up tired, he wakes up full of energy, etc., right? So do not think any of that's normal, boys. And this will kind of explain why, right? Your grandfather, or your great-grandfather, whatever, was not eating chicken and broccoli every day. He wasn't. He just wasn't, right? And he definitely wasn't tracking his macros. He definitely wasn't eating foods with 50 different ingredients. He definitely wasn't eating seed oils that it's basically engine lubricant. Chemicals his body doesn't even recognize. Whey protein shakes that are like made in a lab. He wasn't feeding his body with all this bullshit that fucks up his gut, fucks up his hormones, gives him all these terrible side effects that we live with today in this modern generation. He just wasn't. He wasn't eating these things. Curries with 1,000 sauces. All these things are destroying your health, your testosterone, your progress, and your level of enjoyment through life, right? But what was he eating, right? What was your grandfather eating? Well, he was eating the diet, boys. He was literally eating the diet. He's eating red meat and eggs daily, the most nutrient-dense, healthy food you can possibly eat that's going to supply your body with all the nutrients and especially the cholesterol, which your body uses directly to create testosterone, right? Your body uses cholesterol as the raw material to make testosterone. Red meat and eggs are very high in cholesterol. guess what? They're not high in rice and chicken. They're not high in whey protein shakes, in 7-Eleven, what else? 7-Eleven pies, all this bullshit, right? He was eating single ingredient foods. He was eating natural carbs like potato and fruit, not all these ultra processed carbs like pastas and all these things that make you feel like having a nap after, right? You know, you go have a big pasta feed, a big Subway, all these carby feeds, and you go back to work and you feel like you could nap for about 6 hours. That's not normal, bro. That's not normal. That's because your gut's inflamed and your testosterone's going down. I remember that. I used to think that was normal, right? Until I got on the diet. Look at all these healthy foods. This is what he was eating, right? And this is why when you get on the diet, you start easily putting on muscle, right? You go to the gym and you build muscle. You don't go to the gym and almost lose muscle. You wake up full of energy. You're full of motivation, full of drive. Your confidence goes through the roof. Hard work starts to feel good, like you want to go to the gym, you want to work hard. And getting jacked is a downhill battle, like I was saying, because all these things become true. Getting jacked is just you go to the gym 3 to 4 days a week, you train hard, you eat the diet, you recover, and you put on muscle and get in shape. That's it. You don't need to do all these things over here that the gym bros are telling you to do. That's it, right? And all these symptoms are normal and healthy. They are. If you're looking at those thinking, oh, that can't be possible, that must be when you're 15 years old. No, brother. That's what happens when you have healthy and high testosterone. It's not weird. These are just natural side effects, right? I experience all of these every single day now that my testosterone is healthy, where I used to experience all of these, plus a whole lot more, right? And this does not mean that macros or calories become completely irrelevant. Obviously they don't, right? But we're not pulling out our camera, tracking every macro, tracking every calorie. You don't need to do all that stuff, right? So when your meal plan revolves around the diet, macros and weighing every gram of rice just becomes way less relevant, because the most important thing is dialed, which is your testosterone, right? It just is what it is. Because all the gym bros, like my old self, are asking, am I meeting my macros? What's the scale say? How many grams of rice have I put in my cup today? All these questions that are completely irrelevant when you ask these questions, right? Am I easily putting on muscle? Am I going to the gym? Am I training hard? And am I growing? Am I waking up in the mornings full of energy, ready to crush the day? Do I have motivation? Do I have drive? And does hard work feel good? Do I want to go to the gym? Do I want to work hard? And when all these questions become true, it means that your testosterone has become healthy and high, which is very doable. And you start looking like this just because it's a natural byproduct of going to the gym, training hard, eating correctly, having healthy testosterone. This is how we should all look, right? So now let's move on to training, all right? Because training is another area that a lot of boys fuck up, including myself, okay? So for years, a very long time, this is how I used to train. I used to train 5 to 6 days a week, like they tell you to. I used to go in there and used to do higher reps, lower weights, 12 to 15 reps, chasing that pump, lots of cables, lots of machines, lots of different exercises, doing all these single arm cable rows, all these machines like you see online. But guess what? Every session felt like a fucking waste of time. I was putting on basically zero muscle. Felt like shit. I wasn't strong. I wasn't powerful. And obviously at the time I had no idea, but this style of training that we're told is the way tanks your testosterone. It drops your testosterone. It's not good for your testosterone. It fries your system. And there's just nowhere near enough stimulus for growth, right? Your body doesn't respond nearly as much to you doing 12 to 15 reps of all these single arm cable rows anywhere near as much as doing some heavy fucking bent over rows with higher weight, lower rep. Just doesn't give your body the signal nearly as much, right? And ultimately it left me feeling stuck. Like I was training so often, was doing all the right things I'm told to do, yet not only did I feel like I was wasting my time in the gym, but I wasn't really seeing any progress at all. And it just made me more unmotivated. Made me feel like more like shit. Made gym feel like more of a chore, right? And not only that, but like I said, I struggled to get out of fucking bed in the morning. I had low energy. It was just a nightmare, literally a nightmare, boys. And eventually, boys, around this same period of me fixing my testosterone and really changing, I started training like this, which is the other aspect, right? 3 to 4 days a week max. Usually 3, 4 sometimes, right? 80% heavy fucking compound movements. Heavy. That actually tell your body, hey, we need more muscles. And not only that, but we need more testosterone, right? This says here, this is another AI fact. And I'm putting these in here, boys, so you know that this isn't just bro science that I've made up on the spot. This is facts, right? The most effective style of weightlifting for hypertrophy and testosterone is high intensity compound movements, right? You're not going to get that from doing all these lightweight, high rep exercises that they tell you to do. Going from this machine to that cable to that cable. No, boys, we focus on the fundamentals, the heavy fucking compounds that force growth, right? And doing 5 to 8 rep intense, heavy exercises, and you leave the gym feeling like, fuck, that was a good sesh. Like, I feel like a fucking strong, powerful man who's lifting heavy shit, not doing my little one finger cable rows, etc., right? And all of a sudden, boys, my sessions started feeling like progress. I started packing on muscle, I started putting on thickness, and I started feeling fucking strong. I started feeling powerful because this style of training, it boosted my testosterone, it allows recovery, it made growth fucking inevitable, right? When you go in there and you do heavy compounds, you push yourself, you're going to grow, especially when you're on the diet and your testosterone is healthy. And ultimately, it left me feeling strong and powerful. And now in the mornings, I wake up full of energy, loving life, fucking, let's go, right? All because of this new training method. So that's very important, boys. Do not train like this. Do not train like they tell you to train. Train like this. You'll see results 100%. Especially when your testosterone is fixed through the diet. This is just going to add to it, okay? And the other part that is very important, boys, is goal setting. Learning how to set goals correctly, right? How many times have you said you want to achieve this, you want to achieve that, and you don't, right? I used to set fuzzy goals my whole life. Oh, I want to be in better shape. Oh, I want this. Oh, I want that, right? But I never achieved shit because I didn't give my brain a clear vision that it could start working towards. And this is major, boys. If you set goals and you struggle to achieve them, you always fall off. This will help you fucking tremendously, right? As soon as I implemented the 2-part goal setting system that I now use every single day, everything fucking changed, right? I started waking up with clarity on where I wanted to go, what I wanted to achieve. There was no guesswork, there's no confusion, and more importantly, there's no fucking excuses, right? When you know exactly what you want, you give your brain a clear target, a clear vision, there's no more excuses. You know what you have to do, you know where you're going, so you get to fucking work. But when you have some fuzzy goal, it's so much easier to fall off because it's like, your brain doesn't even know really what you want, right? So if you don't have written down where you want to be in 3 to 6 months, you don't have the top 3 goals that equal this statement up here, the 2-part goal system, you're drifting just like I was. I was drifting for a very long time. And as soon as I started setting a clear destination, a clear track, I stopped drifting and my goals just started fucking being achieved almost instantly, right? I started making progress. And the next part that is arguably one of the most important part is putting all of this together. How do you put all of this together? It's cool to, get on the diet, start training, have goals, have habits, but like until this is set in the habits, you're never going to achieve anything. Because the only way you achieve your goals is by creating the habits that make the goals inevitable, right? Because that's the only thing that stands between your goals, right, is your habits. And the key to achieving the goals is creating the habits that create the results. Goals are just end destinations. Habits are what get you there, right? So once I build a habit system around my training, around my eating, around how I carry myself throughout the day, throughout my life, the results just come and they just keep compounding. Habits are everything, boys. And if you don't know how to implement habits properly, you're not going to achieve your goals because the habits, the literal habits, is what make the goals a reality. And once those habits become solid, going to the gym is very easy. Eating the diet every day,
all these things become very easy and just natural, right? As you can see, smoking cigarettes here, bang, transformation. This is what I'm talking about, boys. Once you learn the 3-part habit system and you implement that, your goals are just going to become inevitable because they're the byproduct, right? And really what I'm pointing to here, boys, is that the gym bro way that you've been told to do things, 90% of the stuff out there online is just doing you harm. It's not helping, and it's pointing you in the completely wrong direction. You're not going to get jacked doing it like that. You're not going to feel good doing it like that, right? Maybe you're tracking every macro, or you think that you have to track every macro. Eat chicken and broccoli, train 6 days a week, obsess over your calories, take Tupperware to the beach, do all this laundry list of things that you think you have to do, which are unnatural and unhealthy. But ultimately, they're contributing to destroying your testosterone, and they're definitely not helping your testosterone, which is why probably you're struggling to put on muscle. You're waking up in the mornings with no energy, like you feel like you could go back to sleep for a couple of hours. You're not jumping out of bed, ready to crush the day, feeling amazing, right? You're lacking motivation, you're lacking drive, you've got brain fog, all these symptoms that, how are you meant to get jacked? How are you meant to feel good? How are you meant to be confident when all these things are true? And then let alone track all your macros, eat chicken and broccoli, do all these things. It's ridiculous, boys. It's stupid, right? And I know because I used to spend hours in the gym. I used to meal prep every Sunday, and I was trying so hard, but I was getting little results. And I was feeling like shit every single day. I lacked energy, I lacked all these things, and it's because I was doing things the completely wrong way. And I didn't even know it, right? And like I said, I found a healthy way to get lean, to get jacked year round without making it your whole life, or meal prepping dog food every Sunday, or taking Tupperware to the beach, or doing all these things that you probably think that you have to do. But like I said, the results go way past just getting jacked, right? You start waking up with insane energy, insane drive, insane motivation. You no longer start feeling like shit. You no longer feel like shit. All these things, right? It feels like you get your life back. And that's what I say to people, right? It felt like I got my life back once I dialed in this protocol, right? And honestly, you do, because you get your testosterone back. And when you get your testosterone back, almost every area of your life will peak. And that's just a fact. And you won't have to do all that extra stuff. You just have to eat correctly, train correctly, dial in your habits, have clear goals that you're working towards. And brother, the goals are yours. You're going to start feeling amazing. You're literally going to turn into a new version of yourself, right? So now that the boys that are still watching, right? If you're still watching, this is for you, brother. I've got an offer for you, right? If you are a man and you're in your 20s or your 30s and you want to pack on lean muscles so you look fucking amazing, but you feel amazing as well, right? And you don't want to be a gym bro. You don't want to track your macros every single day. You don't want to eat chicken and broccoli like on repeat every single day, do all these things, and you're tired of struggling to put on muscle, waking up in the mornings like you've hardly slept, lacking motivation, lacking drive, and you are ready to get jacked, you are ready to get lean, you are ready to start waking up in the mornings with fucking insane energy, loving your life, and ultimately fix your testosterone, get it back up to healthy, high levels so all those things come true. Brother, I will implement this exact protocol into your life, into your specific goals, your exercise level, so it's tailored so that achieving your goals is literally mathematical, right? And you can achieve the exact same results I did over this time in literally half the time because I've got it all laid out now, right? I've been doing this for a while now, okay? Zero guesswork. It's not maybe. It's not, oh, we'll try. It's mathematical, right? Once you dial in all 4 of these areas, getting jacked, getting lean, having insane energy, achieving your goals becomes very predictable and very mathematical, right? So boys, if that is you, if that does interest you, click the link down in the description. We can get on a one-on-one call and see if you're an actual good fit for this protocol and it can be implemented into your life to your specific goals. Either way, boys, I hope you found value from this video. And I really look forward to chatting to a couple of you boys. All right.